My
We
God.
out here at the Afterglow.
We out here in the Afterglow. I'm literally in the glow.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
And I think you got some of that glow to share with us.
You know,
we're talking about this sermon series. It had to happen this way.
Yes.
And just a continuation of our conversation last week about isolation and what happens in that process and how you get out of it. So we have a few people who have some questions they want to ask you. So first up, we got Jessica's my namesake coming through here.
That's so good. I'm looking forward to this. I love it. Come on, Jessica. You come in. Y'all probably should go on that side so y'all can come in that way. But I love these moments. It's raw. It's unrehearsed. It is fresh out the glow, and we're just having a conversation about this series. What you thinking about it, Jessica? What you got?
So my question is this. A person who's in their alone season.
Yeah.
If they are in an alone season, but they don't feel God, because a lot of times people go by what they feel. How can you tell that person to make it through the season?
That's good. That's good. I think that sometimes people feel like an alone season is not a choice, right? By taking back the power to make a decision to go be alone with God. Hey, what you about to do? I can't be with you right now. I'm going for a walk. Or I can't go hang out with y'all right now because I'm in a space or a season where I'm intentionally being away with God. Something I noticed about Jesus is that after all big moments in ministry, he would go alone to the mountain to pray. Before he's getting ready to select his disciples, he would go alone to the mountain to pray. And so Jesus' isolation wasn't this random occurrence of something happened because it wasn't nothing else to do. Jesus always made a decision to go be alone with God by choice. And so if you're making an intentional decision for isolation or aloneness, then it doesn't feel like punishment. It doesn't feel like because nobody wants to hang out with you, because you don't have anything else to do. And I think that God is always more concerned than pulling you away from people to pulling you closer to him, right? So whenever the noise gets too loud and I'm seeking clarity, I'm seeking direction, even creativity, then God is always calling us to a space of consecration. And I think people are more afraid to intentionally choose to be alone with God, and they wait till they have to be alone with God because nobody else is there. That feels more like punishment, right? And alone time with God, aloneness, a space of aloneness is purposeful. It's not a punishment. So when you're in that, it's not about feeling God. It's about hearing. It's about seeing. It's about doing. It's about maximizing your time with God, right? So whether it's like a relationship with a person. If you go to intentionally spend time in a relationship with a person, you're going to have a conversation. You're going to talk about dreams, the future. You're going to be still. You're going to be listening. You're going to be open. So I think that alone time with God is something that people don't value and treasure and do enough of intentionally. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to feel like punishment or isolation. So it's not about feeling with God. Feeling God, we walk by faith, not by sight. We inform our feelings with our faith. We do not let our feelings inform our faith. So eventually you will feel God. You spend time with him, you get along with him, you will feel him. But the importance or the reason he calls you to aloneness, I don't think is for feeling, F-E-E-L-I-N-G, but I think it's for feeling, F-I-L-L-I, exactly. He wants to feel us, not just feel us. And so when we get time with God to be filled up, then we feel energized, we feel refreshed, and all things end up, we get clarity, and it's in that stillness. So I think God calls us to that seat, that aloneness, so we can embrace our solitude and be filled by him. That's how I feel right now.
You're filled.
I feel right now. Yeah, so that's the space that God's trying to get us to. And it should not be forced. It should, or coerced. It should be a decision or a choice. What if you made an appointment with God, right? What if you set it on your calendar, set it on your schedule? What if you decided to spend intentional time with God for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, just you and the Lord, and see whatever happens out of that space? I think believers will walk out feeling empowered because of the feeling. Yes.
So good.
Thank Thank you for your curiosity. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for the wisdom.
Thank you, Jess. We appreciate you.
Yeah, that's what we learn in the Afterglow. After the message is preached, we want to sit in it, right? We want to sit in the revelation. We want to review our notes.
Yes.
We want to go back and watch it on YouTube again. We want to hear the message. Faith comes by hearing by the word of God. And sometimes in a moment you can't recall everything you heard. So you got to go back and hear it again, so you can, while you're here, you can hear. You know what I mean? So it's cool play on words today, right? But while you're here, you want to be able to hear. And whenever I can't hear, then I try to pull away to be with God.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So we're moving and shifting a little bit from isolation, and now we got to figure out who needs to be around us, and maybe those groups need to dwindle. That circle needs to get a little bit smaller. Yeah. So we got Tom Ross here who has a question for you.
Love Tom Ross. Come on, Tom Ross, and come from behind the camera to in front of the camera for a second. Sit with me. What's up, Tom? What's going on?
What's up, PG? So my question is from the seat of a leader, from Jesus' perspective.
Right.
You may feel that loneliness of not having a team. What is the process of going from the 84 to the 12 to the 3?
That's a great question. I think that people spend too much time trying to cut their list down instead of just keep living with God, and the list kind of will cut itself down. And they spend too much time trying to cut people off instead of realizing that nobody in your life or your circle it necessarily always needs a cutoff, right? It's just as you keep pursuing the closeness of God and the purpose of God, the people that are supposed to be in certain spaces and certain seasons, they'll show up. It's no need to discount or discredit the people that was in the 84, because you was in the 84 too.
Right.
You was in the 12 too. And don't think you're better than the 12 because you got called to the 3. Don't think you're better than the 3 because you got called to the 1. Because every seat has significance, and every space of that time has a particular reason. And I think what Jesus was teaching us was that he loved everybody. He died for the whole world. But there's some people that had a different responsibility. The crowd was gathered for what he had. 12, he chose to be his disciples as pillars. The 3, he had a particular assignment for Peter, James, and John that was different from Thomas or Bartholomew, or, it's nothing wrong with them, or even Matthew. You know what I'm saying? Matthew wrote the biggest book in the New Testament, but his assignment wasn't the same as Peter's assignment, or John's assignment, or James' assignment. And then John, after everybody was gone, John was the one that had to go isolation and get revelation of the future. While the rest of them had a revelation of the past, John was one of the youngest disciples, and Jesus knew that he probably would outlive the rest of them.
Right.
So he pulled them closer because he was like, if you're going to outlive me, I got to make sure you have a deposit that lasts longer than them, because I'm going to be left with you, and the world is going to learn about me through you. So sometimes we think that is, because I'm special, but maybe it's just the specialty of God's hand on your life.
Right.
And as you as a leader are walking through, there are just certain people that do certain things in your life that all people are appreciated, all people are significant, but the people that's supposed to be in a place in a certain time, that isolation or that space comes as you continue to mature. And I always say, the clearer your purpose gets, the smaller your circle gets, right? And it's not because something's wrong with the other people. I keep saying that because it's so true. It's because the closer you get to narrow down the thing you're supposed to do, the more clarity you have around who you're supposed to do it with.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
You got a follow-up question?
Yeah, but because I think some people may be wondering, like, I can't even get 3. Where am I going to get 84 from?
Well, the 84 is a metaphor, right? So It's not really the 84. It's just the crowd. That could be your family, your bloodline, the community God saved you in. It could be. It's not about the numbers as much as it's about the significance of the numbers, what the groups represent, right? So don't focus on the numerical capacity. It's not actual 84 or 72. It's what the groups represent, that when God calls you, he calls you out of a group of people. Then he brings you into a smaller group. Then he brings you into a smaller group, only eventually always to get you in one seat where it's just you and him. And I keep saying this, it's not about getting away from people. It's about getting close with God.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why God is calling you out. He's draw near to me, and I'll draw near to you. God always wants you to be close to Him, even if you're in a room full of people.
Wow.
In this seat that I'm sitting in my life, in this season that I'm sitting in my life, I'm always in a room full of people, but I still always feel like I'm sitting in a seat by myself, right? And it's like I always say the metaphor, I'm in a room full of strangers where the whole world can see me and I can't see them back.
Right.
Where people know me and I don't know them back.
Right.
Where people know my name, or they think they know my name because they still call me Jermone instead of Jerome. Hey, Jerome. But they think they know me and they don't know me. And it's like, I can be seen and not know you. And you can think you know me and I don't know you. And you have expectations, you have ideas, you have projections, perspective. Who is this guy? Where's Pastor Hannah? Who is this guy preaching with his hair and making up a rap song at the end? Like, all your opinions can be projected on me, and I have nothing I can say back to you because you can see me and I can't see you. And God is like, I put you in that seat in a big room full of people, but you're still, it's just me and you.
Yeah.
Don't forget that I called you to do this between me and you. And that caused you to feel vulnerable and second guess. I mean, the Holy Ghost grabbed me in church because in this space, my birthday is a reflective time. Every time I get ready to turn another age, then, I start reflecting over my life and my decisions and my relationships.
Right.
And sometimes I have these encounters where I'm like, God, I know you called me here. I know I'm supposed to be here, but sometimes I feel so alone in this space, in this season. I don't even have a network of executive pastors. And if I did have a network of executive pastors, they don't do it the way we do it.
Right.
This is so trailblazing. Yeah. This is so record-breaking. This is so no point of reference.
Right.
Who do I call to be like, yo, how you feel? It's nobody to call. It's nobody else that we know that's doing what we do the way we do.
Yep.
So a lot of times the only person I can draw to when I need clarity or confusion is to God, because He's the one that assigned it. And so it's not about the relationships that I had or the friendships that I had. Something's wrong with them. They're just not in the same seat that I'm in. And God's like, I need your attention to be with me because I'm the only one that can give you clarity in the space that you're in, because there's nobody. You're the trailblazer. You're the example. So there's nobody else you can talk to. And there's people out there that's watching that God got you out here in a moment and in a space and in time where nobody else is in it but you, calling you to come out of a comfortable situation, come into entrepreneurship, walk in a territory you never walked before, and you don't have anybody to glean from because the way He wants you to do it is so unique. And that's the space that I'm in. Everybody look at my life like, oh yeah, that's great. And it's great. I have no problem. I have no complaints. But it is a lonely seat. And it is a space of isolation where people can always project their expectations on you without even knowing you or knowing what you're dealing with or going through. And that's right. It's very, very, very unique. Very unique and very unique and very peculiar. But I learned that God is calling me to Him, not away from people. Just come to me, come up higher and get that. And you second guess yourself, but you know where you at, you know what you're doing, and you trust God for the future. So, all right, be encouraged. Trust God for the future. He got you where you belong. That was a long answer. It's therapeutic though. But it's different. It's different. It's different. And to shift from one role to another role, to shift from one city to another city, one region to another region, one relationship sector to another relationship sector, one place where you're extremely valued and appreciated and loved to a place where they still evaluating you, you know what I'm saying? Still dating you, still trying to figure out if they're going to get with you or come to church when you preach. It's interesting, and you still got to stay focused and stay locked into your assignment because you know you didn't assign yourself. God assigned you. It's a unique space. And that's when God say the only place you can find fulfillment is if you spend time with me.
Yeah.
So I value my alone time. I value my time with God. I make it a priority.
Because He gives you your validation.
He gives me my validation. So good. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, man. Right. I appreciate it. It's good. We're in Afterglow here in the hallway. I think we got one more. I don't even know what our clock is. We got a few minutes
We're
left. We're nearing to the
But
end.
I think we have another really good question about some friendships and things. So we're gonna bring Jeremiah in.
Jeremiah, the prophet. Yeah. Hey, Jeremiah, welcome into the Afterglow. Good to see you. Take the mic, sit down, talk to me. What's the question?
So you mentioned earlier about associations and how that plays a role to your characteristics.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how you've navigated, because I had a whole different question, but your last question answered a part of my question. So how do you navigate that being here at New Life? And
Association.
And how do you navigate not having, how do you say, what you're used to?
What I'm used to having.
Yeah, what you're used to having, like the greatness.
Jeremiah. Man, I'm still navigating it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a real question. I'm a developer and a builder, a church planter. So my squad, my team, I nurtured it, I developed it, I built it almost from scratch. God sent people, but we cultivated it. Being thrust out of that space into this space is a journey where you just have to be open to the structure and the infrastructure of the new associations. And you have to find out how people view you, see you, and how you see and view others. Thankfully, in a lot of the spaces, Pastor Hannah gave me autonomy to pick my own teams for the people that I have to work directly with. He didn't force me to just work with. We inherited some people, but they're great people. He didn't force me to just work with the people that I had to work with. He also allowed me to be empowered to pick my own squad. And so in picking my own squad, then I'm able to find the gifts and the talents and the associations that's connected to them. Because if you're going to win, you want to win with your own team. So I think that it was a transition of being out of the space, out of the relationship, out of the people group that I were in, that I knew. But if I'm going to grow, I have to grow out of my comfort zone. Be open to new relationships, other skill sets, other talents. And thankfully, God has, New Life Chicago has a plethora of powerful, talented people. And in getting to know them, then I got to pick my own squad for the things that He's assigned me to do, so we can be able to have success in that space. And so I think that people underestimate the power of association, Jeremiah. I think that people don't think about the blueprint for your life and the people that's missing in those gaps and who you need for what. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're about to do business, you need a coach, you need a tax person, you need a lawyer, you need a mentor, right? And I think sometimes God calls you to do things and people just sit back and only take inventory of what they have instead of asking God for what they need, right? So it's like, if God is calling you to do something, well, who do I need? Who's in my Rolodex? Who's in my skill set that can help me to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish? And God, if I don't have it, like Pastor Hannah always says, you put your net out there and you pray into it. You ask God to introduce me to the people, fill the gaps in my phone, fill the gaps in my Rolodex, so I have the proper association to complete my assignment. And so many times people just sit with what they got instead of reaching for what they need.
That is so good. Like, I'm super like that because I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
So for me, like, asking for help is very difficult, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I may need that spiritual guidance from this person or that connection from that person that will help grow my business.
Yeah.
But will I put my hand up and ask?
Yeah, you gotta
I'll
ask.
tell God. Yeah. Right? But will I tell you, like Pastor being like, yo, I'm going through, can you pray for me?
Yeah.
It's difficult in that how because I remember you saying that you are an introvert as well.
Yeah.
How did you navigate being in such a large organization like New Life, as well as big as our social media is, which you've helped push?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's totally different now.
Yeah.
How do you navigate here? Like, do you go home and just be like, get away from me, I don't want to talk to nobody?
You know, I'm an ambivert, right? So I'm an introvert if I'm naturally by myself, an extrovert when I need to be, because it would make no sense for me to be an introvert when I'm up preaching, when I need to be an extrovert. So again, I value my alone time. I recharge. Yes, I get peopled out, but I love people. I just don't like perfunctory. I don't like surface level, just whatever. I love people. I love being with people. Genuinely, right. But I genuinely love being with people. Also, it's just that I also genuinely love being with God by myself. So if I have the right amount of quiet time, the right amount of me time, then I can have the right amount of personal and people time. It's not a burnout. It's only if I haven't connected with God and been in my private space, then trying to be with people rends me ineffective. And one of the things that my wife did, she's a bishop's granddaughter. I never told her to do this ever in our marriage. Early on in our marriage, she would wake up on a Saturday morning and take my kids to go see my mother, her mother, and her grandmother. And she would just empty the house all day on a Saturday and just silence all day, solitude all day. I don't really hang out on Saturday. I don't really go nowhere. It's my Sabbath. So I get to pray, I get to think, I get to sit, and my wife would create that space, and then all of a sudden in the evening, everybody will show back up. Hey, how y'all doing? How was y'all day? She just created a sanctuary because she knew on Sunday I had so much to put out, and because I could be effectively alone with God and effectively alone with myself, then Sundays I could be effectively with people. And I think people that have to be with people have to make sure that they have time not to be with people. Yes. So I'm an early riser. Before my house wake up, I'm with God. Yep. I'm quiet. I'm in my quiet time. I sit with God. I read. I reflect. I meditate. Before I work out, my routine every morning is spirit, soul, body. Spirit, soul, body. First I feed the spirit, then I apply that to my soul. Then I move my body. Then I go be with people. Then I answer the phone, the emails, and check it out. So I wake up early. If you get your right amount of God time, then you can get your people time easy. So people try to plug in the people before they plug into God. And God say, plug into me first. Reconnect with heaven. Right? Reconnect with heaven, and then I'll give you the downloads you need to be with people. So if you reconnect with heaven, God's going to give you an idea. He's going to tell you something to do. Whatever he tells you to do, you can't do by yourself. So then he'll show you who you know, who you need, who you don't know. You can pray into that. Then you can ask God for those encounters. Then when he bring those people in front of you, you got to have the courage to get out of your introvert, get into your extrovert, pull them in so you can make the connection, so you can accomplish what he called you to do. Spend the right amount of time with God. You can spend any time with people. That's good. That's
it's good.
Thank you,
like,
Jermone.
Come on, man.
Appreciate that.
Good. Thank you.
Yo, we are out of time. It's crazy. This has been great,
it has.
Jessica.
We could do a whole show for an hour and a half.
We cannot
2 hours,
today, though.
But not today. Thank you so much, PG.
Hey,
we
Jessica,
appreciate you. This was great.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching this format of Afterglow, where we're just kind of in a hallway, rapid fire, pulling on the wisdom of God. It's not me, it's the wisdom of God.
Absolutely.
If you ask, God will give you answers.
Absolutely.
So the Afterglow is about reflecting on the message that was preached, even while you still sitting in it, even as it's still being unfolded. And I hope something you heard and something you learned pricks something in you. Most importantly, don't just hear the message, live the message, right? Live what you learn and apply this message to your life. It had to happen this way.
And go back and watch it again.
Jessica, it's so crazy. It's like, if you honest, you think about the shoulda, couldas, and wouldas in your life. But the truth is, you really don't know. You're like, well, if I'd have went that way, I wonder what would have happened.
I have no idea.
But you really don't know what would have happened if you went that way.
Idea.
All you got is this way.
Right now.
So quit having a love affair with what shoulda, coulda, woulda happened. Embrace what happened. Trust God that it had to happen this way.
Hey, I love it. This was great. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.